Hello. Let's see if this has worked. It has. I think. There we go. It works. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to PRL season number 14, round number 1 for the Sunday tier. We are in Brazil. We are vibing. I am back on comms on my PlayStation. Obviously, I did not own the last game. I did one um, round when the game was free. Hey, no worries, Joe. No worries. I'm here. We're out here. Let's get this in the. I hope that worked. Let's go. We still have a few minutes before the first race of the season begins. So I'm trying to catch some of the balls in the ball sticks. There we go. Caught one as well. But yes, we're back. I'm back. I have the game. I have a little bit more knowledge of the game this time. I did not know how good the Horns were last time out, so if you had a gripe about that, sorry. But here we are. A little bit sleepy, but we move. I don't know if the because in the comments did show up for me. I don't know if they show up on screen like for you. Um, but it does mean I don't have to have this stream up all the time. I can have the uh, stuff up from the Discord. Of course, if you're new around here and you want to get to drive F125 with a good league, join us. I think there's a link in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, um, there's a link in the description, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, we'll get on that as soon as possible. Let's see here. Is there actually a link? There is. So, yeah, in the About page, there is a link. Um, yeah, now we're basically just waiting a couple of more minutes until it's supposed to get underway. You have a couple of reserves racing today. We have Hex driving in Williams. We have Quaruma in the Sauber. And Rob Su is not in the Williams. We have Martin there. Oh, we do have Joe, Ramsey, Rusty, Nico, Justin, Spinowin, Gord, Morris, Bass, FBI agent, Villeneuve, Chaos, Lord, Noob, Tim Gram, Viper, Martin, and Mr. Bean supposed to race today. from the from the main drivers. I am not a main driver. Uh, I've lost severe skills. I might become it later, but you know, we move. I am tired, but you know, it wouldn't be a PRL stream with me on comms if it wasn't a little bit wonky. So you know, we go. I think they have, yeah, they have gotten the ready up. So a couple of more needs to ready up, and then we have the countdown. And as you can see, I think this has been for a couple of seasons now, but in case you're new, we do have set weather. And yeah, it means I know we're gonna go overcast in both sessions. The track, Brazil, fan favorite. A very short track, 36 laps. I'm getting the track map up so you know you can see stuff. Here we are. So 15 corners. Um, with the final real challenge in turn 12. The rest is just bends. I expect high wings today. And now drivers are applying their setups, and we have a Justin, I think it's going to be. Justin always quick out the box. It is a Justin. So you can see a couple more leaving. And there we are, Justin. I have no idea about the audio levels here, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna check. There we are, Justin. I have no idea about the audio levels. Oh, they are very low. Um, hold on then. Hold on. We'll figure this out here. How is that? How is this? I'll do this for now, so I know what to listen for. How is that? How is this? It is still a little low. Uh, sorry. I'll try and figure this out. Audio. I'll do 9. I might have to lower the volume on my TV, but I'll figure that out after qualifying. Justin coming into the fun section of the track, I'd say. Through turn 12, now turn 11. Turn 12, obviously purple, because it's the first to set a time. And now the run to the line. Burning all of the areas they have left, and 108.4 is the time to beat Martin to the line, a 109.0. So about half a second off. Rossi, name I don't recognize too well, goes P4, 1.3 seconds off. Gordsos, my old nemesis, the Canadian, I have no name, midweek specialist, currently P3 as Joe, the guy to beat, I think, is on provisional pole by almost half a second, 1:07.9. So we have Mr. Bean go top, 1:07.8. Morris. Let's follow along with Morris. It's a little bit low for me. Hopefully this sound is alright for you guys. I got his DRSB in my controller, that's weird. Morris, of course, a very, very good driver who has, see here, 2 championships in the top tier when there was more than one tier, and he has aborted. Lord up to the line. It's looking like a decent time. His ERS is a little bit low. It's actually out of ERS before the line, 108.7 actually. As Ramsey sets a lap time of a 1:23. Probably made a mistake and backed out. Mr. Hex is invalid and will go on board with Noob in the American team. Of course, getting expanded to this to becoming a second American team next season with Cadillac, of course, joining. Noob goes P11, 1.6 seconds off. Spin and Win has actually totally missed that. Spin and Win has gone P2, 64 thousandths off Mr. Bean. So we have a pretty quick front 3 here. And then we have a small gap to Justin. So we have a bit of a down. Most people on their way in as Ramsey crossed the line, P6. 1,000 behind GK Bass. Bass on an improvement as Mr. Bean improves their position to a 1:07.7. Now a tenth and a half ahead of Spin and Win. Bass, how much time have they found in the middle sector? Not a lot. They're about 2/10 ahead. So now on their way to the line. Just yeet everything they have. And goes P4. Just under half a second. And we have a Aston Martin P4, P5. As we have someone who set a lap time, I'm not sure who. Was it the second McLaren, maybe, of Nico John? I think it was. Yeah, P11 for Mr. Nico John. His return to Performance Racing League. Now, the reason I'm not here is because I'm about this far off. So, yeah. And this is not calling FBI agent out because I know that lap time is not representative at all. As they actually had to go past their teammate, Quaruma. Quaruma, of course, a reserve. As we get a little bit of a scam message. So, yeah, I don't think we have any mods. But if someone is signed in on their computer, they could remove that. Please do. Anyways, meanwhile, FBI agents. And I don't think the comments actually pop up, so. And yeah, FBI agent about 2 seconds up. Which would put them about along the lines of Gord and Lord. And yeah, just behind, 1 second off. Just about. And Morris comes into P9. Not far off Lord. What about Gord? No. Invalid through, I'm guessing, the first 3 turns. The Senna S as Joe to the line. Goes pole by 7 thousandths of a second. With about half the session left. Is Morris pushing? No, not at all. Rusty. Don't Rusty is not on a lap. Neither is Hex, because Hex has invalidated again. Ghost. Red Bulls. Not impressing so far. But of course, round number 1 of a new game. Things can change once you find that little just to get you along. Have Ghost reaching the line. Has improved to a P14, so not bad at all. At the top we have Mr. Bean. Made a mistake there, it looked like, at least. Still 0.3 of a second. Coming to the line. Draining the ERS. 1074 is the time to beat. Lost a little bit of time, I think, with that mistake. Martin is slow. Viper's not. Joe is not. Let's go with Martin. Martin is not. I don't think anyone is actually on a lap. Rams is furthest ahead, so we'll go on board with my good old friend Ramsey. DRS opens wide. Not quite matching their time, but not far off through the SNS. Missing the apex there a little bit. But has found time and is allegedly purple in Sector 2. Maybe running a little bit more wing. Up to the line for Ramsey. It is an improvement to P4. It is a big improvement to P4. Very solid jumping both Aston Martins. Speaking of Martin, we're on board with Martin, who is not on a hot lap. So we'll go on board with that guy Gord. Tires screeching. Up to the line for Gordsauce. Up to P6, splitting the Aston Martins. Mr. Hex has had a lap time, is up to P12. Is now also visiting friends in Argentina, by the looks of it. Mr. Bean is done. Looks to be a retirement in pits. So we have Quaruma, one of the reserves, one of the new guys here in the league. Boards into the pits. What about Rossi? Good middle sector for Rossi. I doubt that was actually purple, but it's still a very solid time. Over 3 temps improvement. Should get them off the last place. Yeah, does so. Goes right behind their teammates. Goes Viper. Goes P16. Noob. I was gonna say in the noob position, but I can't really say that. I'm probably slower. That said, I hope you know I don't mean anything by that at all. By a noob. As someone did set a good time there. Was it? I don't quite know. We still have 2 minutes 20 on the clock. Noob coming through the final real turn. Now up to the line. That's a lot of ERS to use. I wonder if they are using any sort of like ERS assist, because that's not a lot of ERS being used at all. Unless they aborted and are going again, but I don't really know. We are on the final sort of laps. Morris is not on a hot lap. FBI agent, I think, is on a hot lap. Rossi is not. Spin and win also done. Lot of outlaps. We'll be with Justin. Justin coming to the line now. And then we'll try and quickly jump to Joe. Well, Joe is closest to the pole right now, without being on one. Justin, if you can just find like 2 times, that is him up to P4. Needs to find about half a second to get into the current podium spots here in the quali. $14,000 currently. Should be able to find some time. Maybe could jump one or two of the Mercedes, as the checkered has fallen now. Goes P6, does jump both Mercedes, as Joe is visiting fans over in Bolivia with cutting grass. GK Bass coming to the line, going P4. Ramsey. Can they do anything about their position? Jump back to 4th, maybe. Needs a couple of tenths. And has those couple of tenths. Can they maybe even get more? Spin and win is there for the taking as well. Of course, decided to not do a final run, saving a set of tires instead. And yeah, goes P3. Incredible scenes from Ramsey, who does get spin and win. Spin and win still getting the 4th row. Morris. Yeah, not on a lap at all. So that is your grid. Mr. Bean gets the first pole of the season. New game. And for me at least, a new pole sitter. Joe, P2. A very solid qualifying from the man emerging in preseason, maybe. I actually don't know how it did in preseason, but I have seen the pace. Ramsey getting P3, just ahead of Spin and Win, clutching that position. Bass, Justin, Gord, Lord, Martin, and Morris rounding off the top 10. Here is the rest of it, in case it's needed for anything. But yeah. So, new game, new things needed. So, still 50% races, but the tire wear is a lot heavier this game. 2 stops is definitely viable, especially around here, where passing is possible. I wonder if I have. Vilna could maybe get them an invite back. Let's quickly have a little look. Just outing all of my friends here, but we move. I do not have Villeneuve. But yeah, new game. Dirty air is, a thing compared to last game. Obviously, I didn't experience it, but from what I've been told, there just was none. From what I could see as well, it just didn't look to be there. But this game, it's definitely there. So yeah, will be interesting. Tire wear as well, as I said, a lot higher. 2, maybe even a 3 stop could be viable. And also depending on safety cars, of course. This track is, I think, fairly safety car heavy. I recall back when I raced Season 8, Season 9, we had a few safety cars. But of course, that's almost 8 seasons ago now, so. But still only 2 games ago. So yeah, it's still very interesting. So I'm getting a call on. Here we go. The formation lap is now underway. So we'll go with position type, quickly just having a look. It's very evenly spread, medium and hards. Very interesting. Mr. Bean and Joe going for mediums. Ramsey and Spin going on the hards together with the 2 Aston Martins. The 2 Mercedes going on a split strategy. Lord going mediums and Lord going hards. Martin and Morris, of course, running off the top 10, running hard and medium respectively. FBI Agent and Tim Gra also splitting strategies. Nico John in 13th, running hards and Rusty mediums. Ghost Viper running hards. Mr. Hex and Rossi both running mediums, 16th and 17th. And running off the grid, Quaroma on the hards and Noob on the mediums. Position change to make it easier to visualize what is going on, but we have now the final couple of burnouts here, trying to get temp into their tires. So we can now see them. Oh, we do get a reset. Morris trying to start a little bit too far forward. But here we go. They have lined up. We have 5 red lights. It is lights out and away we go. Joe getting a pretty good start, but Ramsey getting a better one. Can go around the outside, gets the inside of course. But it does get the outside for the long turn 3 of course. And Joe does keep the position. The first mover is actually Gord, who has gone up 1 space up to 6th, splitting the Aston Martins. Justin going down to P7. Morris up 2 positions to 8th. Jumping Lord and Martin. Noob has jumped 6 places. I am so sorry I wasn't able to see that, because that is insane. How have you managed to do that? As we do have a yellow flag, that's Rossi. Rossi in the grass. And we go along to the front. Mr. Bean gets to open DRS here on lap 2 now. And does get up into first place. Does give Joe a bit of space there on the exit. Oh, and Rusty gets a 10 seconds. That's rough. Rusty has not had a fun time here. You can see the gaps starting to form 3, 4, 5, 6 temps from the dirty air. But Rusty now with the one stop. Go with the tire graphic. Actually, we'll go with none for now. Get tires up in a little bit. Same with penalties and stuff like that. But in the meantime, Mr. Bean getting fastest lap. So far, I am expecting that to come down a little bit. The further along we go. Spin is close to Ramsey. Both on the hard tires. So we get a lovely, lovely camera view here from the helicopter. I wish we could choose what camera we use, because I would use this so much. Spin and Win does back out a little bit there, back off rather. Letting Ramsey keep it. Going on board with Ramsey, we're seeing the steering wheel. Let's jump back to Morris. Had a bit of a letdown. Now currently P8 here. And I have to make some places up if they want a good result. Nico John very close, but I'm gonna have to jump up to the front couple of places here because we do have Spin and Win and Ramsey going side by side. Joe and Mr. Bean changed places for the lead, but Spin and Win takes over the final step of the podium right now as Mr. Bean down the inside. Let's get P1 back for now. Joe couldn't quite get the exit on the switchback there, and we'll have to stay behind Mr. Bean, of course. As we have Mr. Hex and Rossi actually getting ahead. Oh, a little bit of small contact from the teammates there. It's fine. Stuff that happens. You have Justin on the back of Gordzos. Gordzos struggling, might not even get DRS this lap. And did that to let you guys see the DRS situation. Morris has a little look, fakes to the inside, but Justin just doesn't go for it. Justin gets a very good exit though, and it's gonna fly past up to P6 behind their teammate once again. So we see Nico John up to P13 ahead of Noob as well. Further up ahead though, their teammate, Mr. Bean, currently P2 now behind Joe. We do have a bit of a DRS trade. Justin just on the edge of that 1 second. Wonder if Bass might back off just to make sure Justin follows along. Yes, Justin will need Gordzos again outside of 1 second. Struggling. No damage as far as we can see though. Back to the top. Round the outside. Both of the drivers locks up. And Mr. Bean up to the lead. But Joe does get DRS now, of course. And does get ahead up to P1 for now for Joe. As Morris has made it up to P7 as well. Ord does not look very fast right now. Ord does get a 3 second as well. And it's not what they want. Lap 6 out of 36. 1/6 of the race gone. We do have a yellow flag. That's Morris. Morris down to P12. I'm sorry, I totally missed that. So we have a pretty big gap here. Gord is going to get a double overtaken from their teammate and Martin. Martin down the inside. Turns to the outside. Does give a little bit of space. Lord does also cut the corner a little bit. Probably not to gain an advantage, but rather to, avoid a potential incident. That's fine. As we have side-by-side racing from Martin and Lord. And it ends up being Martin. Comes out on top. FBI agents had a little bit of a look. See Gord as well having a look. It just looks like Gord is struggling through here. Struggling to follow along. Back at the front. Spin and win. Gets to view these two battle. Might even join in here. No, decides better of it and keeps third place for now. Of course, a third is such a tricky place to be because they need to get past one car to get that free run. Of course, with it being two cars in front, one car will always have DRS in front, which makes it harder to overtake. We do have a E6 car train. Both the Astons in that train, Ramsey, Spin and Win, Joe, and of course our leader right now, Mr. Bean. It's a good exit compared to Joe. Joe closing down really quick. Goes along the outside. And is a headbutt does lock up. But it's so tricky to overtake it to turns 1 and 2. Can't really do anything. So even though that I might actually have thrown Mr. Bean off, but Spin does back off for now, and now Mr. Bean goes on the inside. Mr. Bean up into P1, takes the lead of the Grand Prix. And now the battle for third is on. Sorry about that. This is what I was supposed to do. Right now, Justin. No threat from behind. Still pretty close. Would suspect him to drop off a little bit, taking care of tires and kind of like Bass is doing right here. As Ramsey has made it up, and we can see ahead Joe with the DRS moves up to P1 as well. As we do have the first couple of pitters, we'll go on to tires. So we see what they do. Spin from the hards. Oh, and Hex gets a 10-second. Spin from the hards, goes to mediums. Gordsos does the reverse, from mediums to hards. Mr. X has also gone to hards. And they are still coming out quite a bit ahead of Rusty, who's crossing the finish line now. The reason I don't like them being up there, it just takes so much space. which is why I'm removing it a little bit. But we do have the undercut from Mr. Bean. As he takes out almost a third of the screen, or a fourth at least. Mr. Bean onto a set of hards. Noob getting a 10-second. Noob does actually retire in the pit. But it will be interesting to see what the top guys does now. Joe, of course, on the same strategy. But has free air. We do have yellow flags in sector 1. That's a Mercedes. I think actually it might be a Sauber. Is FBI agents has been DSQ'd. So I'm utterly confused. But we do see a couple of drivers, I was about to say, but no, it's just Joe coming in. Now Mr. Bean. It's coming up towards the start-finish line. Joe coming through now. It's going to be a little bit behind both a Spin and Win and Mr. Bean. But we'll have one lap fresher tires and does still come out ahead of Morris and Quaruma. Quaruma has not boxed. Morris have boxed actually. So it's just a couple of seconds behind Joe, who is on net P3 at the moment. We do have a little bit of a low point right now. The race has actually been quite exciting. We're getting a few DRS passes, a little bit of battling. But yeah, right now we're in a little bit of a pit stop phase. Mr. Bean, net P1 ahead of Spin. Joe has caught up into the DRS. Net P3 currently. Morris, few seconds off P4. Net, of course. Currently Ramsey P1 on track. GK Bass in P2. Have gotten an update from FBI agent where it seems like there's been a bit of contact. That's just in 10 seconds. There's just been a bit of contact with FBI agent and someone. And they've gotten hit with an instant DSQ, which is just hilarious scenes from EA. So, yeah, thanks EA. Never change, please do actually. Justin, without a safety car, out of this battle. Comes out behind Morris, but ahead of Gordzos. Important, as Martin now on the outside. So we have side-by-side action from the two Mercedes-powered cars, but it is Martin getting the edge over Gordzos. Gordzos down to P9. It's been about 11 seconds behind now as GK Bass drops into the pits. Yeah, there is a lot of boxing for mediums from the hards, so I am thinking a two-stop. There's the call for the drivers. As Ghost Viper gets a 10-second as well. This is, of course, crucial data for Ramsey now. Gortsos just ahead, sorry, GK Bass just ahead of Justin. I think it's going to be a two-stop for the drivers. At least the ones on mediums. They won't last. We could see late safety cars, of course. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how this pans out. But I think Joe is in a prime position right now together with Mr. Bean on the hards, about half the race. Not quite, but almost half the race gone now. Ramsey 10 seconds ahead, just trundling along as Joe and Mr. Bean swap position once again. And GK Bass, Morris, and Justin on the same piece of tarmac right now. GK Bass comes up to P5, Justin to P6, and Morris down to P7. And now these two once again swap places. Martin up to P8, a little bit easier this time, and Gord washes wide with that dirty air. Tim Grant up to P12 for the V-Carb driver, Mr. Hex. Having a little bit of a look. That car looked a little bit wobbly. Mr. Bean. It's almost dropped. Oh, spin disconnected. I think I have them. Hold on. Oh, that's fine. I'll drop him a game invite quickly whilst we now watch Joe have a look down the inside, but backs out. Pass about 7 seconds back. Oh, his internet's out. Well, that's rough. I was about to tell him I sent him an invite, but yeah, without internet, you can't really do much. He's just gonna trundle along and see where he can get. Martin in. I was gonna say Martin Gorzel, but it's actually Martin in Spinnowin. Gorzel's a little bit behind. Gorzel's takes a deep line. Drops back. Lord actually looks more stable currently than Gord. Currently one stop from everyone except for Rossi, of course, who had that early mishap. Currently on 2 stops. And Ramsey, of course, on none so far. Has gone all the way to lap 18. Lap 19 now. Has done half the race on those hards. The time is coming down fast. As Joe Biden once again overtakes up to P2. Mr. Bean drops down. Doesn't look like they're battling too much. They're mostly working together, it seems. Both turns off their ERS there. And yeah, 5.5 seconds now. 5.7 actually. As Joe picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that has given Mr. Bean a bit of a buffer. It's now going to take something very special from Joe Biden to win this race. They have 1 lap fresher tires, but they do have 3 seconds coming on to their time at the end of the race. Of course, it could be changed in case one of those warnings was unjust. However, you can't assume that it will. Joe up to P2, although it currently means squat, as is currently P3 with the time penalty. Yeah, Ramsey is currently looking in a very good position. The only thing is, he will come out quite a bit down. But he will have very fresh tires. He is very quick. Question is, how far can he come back when he boxes? And of course, if everyone is doing 2 stops, and Ramsey is doing 1, he has a pit stop on everyone. I wonder if they just used the hards too much. Didn't feel comfortable. Or they've done something in practice. Ramsey has come in now from the lead. And Joe is now the race leader. Set of mediums for the Canadian in the American car. Well, German, but lives in Canada. Flying the flag for Canada. And he's gonna come out. No, he actually comes out just ahead of Martin and Gortos. So now the question is, how much can he catch up? Has about 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds to Morris on older hards. Fairly old hards, actually. Yeah, Boyd in chat saying a lot of drivers will have to learn patience on the hot lap battle sim. That's actually very true. And yeah, he's actually not that far behind after boxing. Of course, it is a short pit stop here in Brazil, one of the shorter ones. So it will be interesting to see what they can do, of course. Joe has been on his tires for 10 laps. It's been 11. Those are on some used hards. Ramsey, lighter car, mediums. Tire wear won't be as bad. Of course, we don't know the type of setup he's running. We don't know how solid his driving is, of course. He's calling out the top 5. It's Quaruma. It's a 3 second. I was going to go down, but then I realized it's back. We'll have a quick look at the Red Bull drivers being quite close to each other. Rossi in P13, Viper in 14th. Of course, penalties for Viper. I think it might be a 10 second. Quick look, penalties, yeah, 10 second. We'll go back to penalties soon, as Ramsey now gets a head. It's not the one I want. Hold on. Gets ahead of last season's P4 in the championship. Was Mr. Bean, currently the reigning champion. This Sunday tier, as it's more known now, rather than Tier 1 or Premier tier. "13 laps to go. Mr. Bean still in the lead. Bass 6 seconds. Solid P3. Yeah, Ramsey already at the back of Justin. Will get him here into turn 4. Way before turn 4 even. There we go. Hex retires in the pits. Ramsey already starting to pull away from Justin, trying to catch up to Bass. Yeah, Justin out of the DRS. Would be interesting to see where someone were like Bass or Justin would come out if they were to box again. We have the leaders going through. First couple of turns again. Yes, we do get an answer to my question. Both Bass and Justin actually coming into the pits. No double stack. Because they had such a gap between each other, about 6 seconds. And Bass is gonna come out just ahead of Nico John, P6. And Justin comes out P13. A bit behind Gordswalls, who's been struggling this race. Yeah, that's a bit behind. 8 seconds. It's going to be a tall order. Ramsey back on the podium then. As we have Mr. B now into the box. Should come out just behind Ramsey then. Well, just behind is a little bit of an overstatement. Morris and Lord also boxing. So it's going to keep P3 on track. Clean air. Once again, the undercut from Mr. Bean. Joe. With those 3 seconds. Yeah, 5 laps. 1 lap on Bass. It comes out 4 seconds ahead of Bass. So a pretty big undercut then from Bass, about 1.5. If we apply that logic to Joe, it's going to be about 3 seconds ahead of Bass then, and about 1.5 behind Mr. Bean. It doesn't box. I was gonna say, I wonder with this penalty if he decides to stay out and see what he can do the final 10 laps. Oh, that's a spin. Rossi. It does keep it actually. Pointing the right direction. Morris up to P8. I wonder if there was a little bit of contact there between the two of them. Didn't quite see it. As Rossi gets a 10 seconds. I did have a comment I wanted to read. Ramsey and Mr. Bean gains a second. It's Ramsey's race 100%. We think. Oh Jesus, 5 seconds. Yeah, Joe has a 3 seconds. We will get on to penalties closer to the end. Once we know what everyone is doing. But 3 seconds for Joe, which means he's currently 7 seconds ahead of Ramsey. Mr. Bean sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:09.8. Yeah, Ramsey now still 10 seconds behind. Possibly made a mistake somewhere. I hope it's not as laggy for you guys as it is for me when I'm watching the stream. Oh, good. It's just my laptop then. Yeah, the drop-off will be interesting to see. If Joe can keep these tires alive. Mr. B now 3 seconds behind Ramsey, but it's still 13 seconds behind Joe. Joe comes in. I'm surprised. I would have thought he was gonna stay out. That's gonna be softs then, no? Yeah, I definitely think they've done a good work with the tires this year. And it's mediums. Mediums for Joe, but he does have an offset now to everyone, but it comes out P4. I would have thought he was going to go on softs. Oh, tries to keep it down the inside of Bass, but can't quite keep it there. Bass stays ahead. Yeah, we do. Oh, as there's a little bit of contact there from Joe on Bass. We are gonna see a battle for the win. Mr. Ramsey and Mr. Bean. Joe is gonna battle. We are gonna go on to penalties now, as there's only 7 laps to go. So these are the times to bear in mind. So currently Joe will drop down to P4, but he should be able to pull away. Ramsey started 4th? No, 3rd even. Yeah, P3. So he's done quite well. As we now have Mr. Bean inside that DRS of Ramsey, but also inside of that dirty air. There's the ERS, just in case the drivers are listening but not viewing. You can see it on their steering wheels at least. Joe picks up the fastest lap. It's about 4.5, 4.6 seconds off But if Mr. Bean and Ramsey battle, we might see it become a three-way fight. Of course, Joe still with that 3 seconds. Really, we don't think that Ramsey can keep up. I'm with Boyd, it's not quite over yet. Ramsey needs to keep up here. As long as he can do that, it's definitely not over. Justin, by the way, has made it up to P9. Nico John P10 in the return. Very, very interesting. I don't really think it's done. Let's have a little. I'm not gonna say the levels, but these are the levels. But yeah, just in case the drivers are listening, I'm not gonna say them. But those are the ERS levels to play with. Ramsey turning off the ERS quite early on that straight. Still inside 3/10. Yes, a pretty bad exit though. Drops back to about half a second. And Joe smells blood, I think. 4 laps to go. Mr. Bean in the front seat. But Ramsey is there. Could do something against the reigning champion. Ramsey, not a full-time driver, last season scored 114 points. Would have been enough for P8 last season. Is now outside of DRS. Have they managed to at least get DRS before? No, they will not have been. But does have some straight line speed advantage there. Mr. Bean, lock up again. And now it's DRS for everyone here in the top 3. Actually, no, Joe did not get it this time, but will get it next time. We did briefly have a yellow flag. I don't quite know what for. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Baggins. A very, very solid one stop from Ramsey. And it just goes to show that 1 stop and 2 stops can definitely battle against each other this game. Ramsey once again dropping back. Needs to get a move on. Has managed to stay inside DRS this time. Joe, unfortunately the time is running out. As Joe goes down the inside. I thought we were going to have 3 wide for a second there, but Joe goes off track, comes on, and does make contact with Ramsey. Yeah, it probably is. And Joe going off track a little bit. Goes up to P2. Could still get the win on track. Joe is absolutely sending it right now. As Mr. Bean is gonna start the final lap, probably side by side. Yeah, side by side, starting the final lap. Joe takes the lead of the race. Of course, has that 3-second time penalty. We don't know how many, if any, warnings can be removed. Mr. Bean goes down the inside and takes back the lead. Ramsey is dropping back, but needs to stay within that 3 seconds of Joe. Joe tries to outside there, but can't quite keep it. Oh, sends it down the inside. Both give each other solid space there. Go on board here with Mr. Bean. Joe is smelling that gearbox, trying to find the move. Mr. Bean gets a good exit, but so does Joe. To the line, who is gonna get it? It is actually going to be Joe getting it to the line, but Mr. Bean preliminary wins the Brazilian Grand Prix ahead of Ramsey. Joe gets P3. GK Bass is going to get P4. Norwegian getting P4. Morris, the other one, gets P5. Just ahead of their teammate, actually. On track, at least. Martin, P6. Gordsauce, P7. Lord, P8 on track, but Justin does come home in P8. Timgra is going to cross the line P10, and Nico John P11. Then we have a lot of penalties here at the end. Rossi Games P12. We are gonna have Ghost Viper come home in P13, but Quaruma is gonna get that P13, might actually even get P12. No, it does get P13. I agree with you, Baggins. That was a great race. And yeah, that has been the premiere of F1 2025. Or F1 25. Mr. Bean gets the race win. Fastest lap goes to Joe. Morris getting driver of the day from the game, and also getting the most overtakes, with cleanest driver going to Nico John. Actually, not surprising at all. Mr. Bean, as we said, wins the race ahead of Ramsey. I just did a rundown, so I'm not going to do the full rundown, but Joe rounds off the podium with the fastest lap as well. Quickly, just gonna go through this one in case it's needed. I think it's a little bit bugged, otherwise FBI agent has a lot of warnings. What is this? FBI agent. But yeah, that has been PRL round 1. Join us next week when we are going to Monaco with the minimum stops. Of course, the minimum 2-stop is in the game, is enforced by the game. So don't miss that. But until then, June 29th, mark it in the calendar. You might want to have a look at the season 14 midweek, where we head off to Imola for the for the first round. But until then, check out our YouTube, check out the Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, follow us, subscribe, everything like that. I have been your host, Jesper. I will not be here in midweek because, well, actually, maybe because I have the day off. We'll see. But until next time, I've been Jesper, and I will see you likely at Monaco. Enjoy your evenings or days or whatever it is for you guys, and take care. Arrivederci, my friends.